It's been quite a week for Katie Porter. She's a Democrat and former California congresswoman, now running for governor. Politico got its hands on this video of Porter blasting a staffer who interrupted her. Take a listen.
And 500,000 Californians dying prematurely to air pollution and other problems, and the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't meet the commitments under the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that.
So that was from 2021. We want to point that out, right?
Yeah, and not a good look, needless to say. That comes on the heels of this now viral interview. Porter getting into an exchange with CBS News correspondent Julie Watts. This was recorded last month, but just released yesterday. Take a listen.
40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump.
How would I need them in order to win, ma'am?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're thinking.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump. I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't care.
Follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there. I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you. And I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either. I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about.
Well, first of all, she said, I don't want this on camera, but you know, as the candidate, there's cameras there. You've got the microphone on. You're sitting across from a reporter. You've been rolling. You've been involved in an interview. You can expect that any of that is fair game. It's on camera. We should mention that Porter did release a statement about the first clip we showed, that political clip, saying she holds herself and her staff to a high standard, and she's sought to be more intentional in showing them gratitude for their important work.
Of course, the problem there is you don't get to control what a reporter asks in an interview, let alone the fact that that was a very easy question to answer. If you can't speak to Trump supporters, why are you running for governor? Let's bring in our political analyst, Jim McQueeny here. Jim, you've worked with lots of candidates. How damaging could all this be for Porter?
It's damaging in a way that most people aren't measuring this. They think it's an embarrassment and media criticism for it and that stuff. And it is that, and it will be that. But the damage that's more longer lasting here is that she can't answer an either or question on this thing. And she can't answer the issue that Democrats have as a whole. 77 million people voted for Trump. They voted for change. And they voted for a lot of other things. The Democrats right now have no easy answer to how to deal with this. And she was put in a spot where she had to be either or. It's a really, Dave, as you said, it was a really easy question. It was a beer ball softball toss. And she went wiggy over it.
And the moment you say, I'm done, and you start to pull off a microphone in the middle of an interview, what does that do to a candidate in terms of how what the public perceives of that candidate, that they just want to end an interview?
Not ready for prime time. That's what they think. And this is a race in California. She's going to have, she's part of about 12 candidates as it exists right now. So if so many of them stay in, the drawdown will be significant. And it is possible, by the way, that Porter can actually survive this. Why? Nobody is more disliked lately than the media. And if she can show that she's not going to be bullied by the media by that way, it might be the kind of thing that she can spin to say, I'm my own woman on this type of thing, and I won't be bullied by the media on here. I know that sounds really funny, but you know, the latest Gallup poll showed that TV reporters, TV reporters are the equivalent, are distrusted as much as car salesmen. That's the latest Gallup poll. That's not a great situation. If you want to, like Trump, run against the media, you know, a lot of good things can happen from that, more than you think.
You mentioned President Trump, and I know that you hearken back to a time back in 2020 on 60 Minutes when he appeared. You're saying this is the start of his bullying of the press and winning at it. Let's look at this.
The biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my
Well,
campaign.
there's no
Leslie.
real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't
No,
verify.
you won't put it on. Tell people to wear
But you
masks.
don't.
Leslie, we hand out thousands of masks.
But you
at
look
every
out and they're
rally.
not wearing them.
So some combativeness there between Leslie Stahl and President Trump. Does that sometimes work to be combative like that with your interviewer?
Jim, I'm going to say in the old days, around then or before then, what you saw on TV was what everybody else saw on TV. Now you can do something like that, which Trump does, and he can explain on Truth Social afterwards, or all digital or social media, his version of what went wrong to his supporters. And that's happening more and more. A lot of candidates or political officials are avoiding these types of shows because they get snared in detail. A politician doesn't like a lot of detail, but that's what people are asking for right now. And then anyway, you can make yourself right by, as we used to say in the newspapers, write yourself right. They can basically socially and digitally put it out to people that are targeted audience of their own constituency, so they can fix a thing like that or exploit a thing like that. And by the way, Porter can do the same in California. It depends on where she is. Now, again, crowded primary, there'll be a dozen. You never know on this thing whether the idea that she wasn't going to be bullied by the media, let's say here, as embarrassing that other thing was, it could prevail. You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how Katie Porter can turn that into a positive. I mean, I think that was just failing to answer an easy question.
Yeah, because is it me? It didn't seem the reporter was bullying her or was, in any way combative. She was just trying to get an answer to that simple question.
I can answer the question. Look, while she clearly opposes Donald Trump, she should speak to the Trump voters about the issues they agree upon, right, Jim?
100%, Dave, on there. I mean, this is like the Democrats going back to Hillary Clinton, where she called basically Trump supporters deplorables. And the Democrats, even after all this time, can't seem to get a grip on the cliff face to speak to what they might consider deplorables. But 77 million people, Americans, voted for Trump. And they also voted on things Harris, offered no plan for change. And that's what voters want. Change.
Real quick, Jim. Who do you think's winning the battle of public opinion on the government shutdown as we are on day 9?
I think it's ambiguous. That is truly not an either or thing in this situation. People don't understand it. They only understand the consequences. They don't understand anything that comes out of Washington. I spent 8 years in Washington in the Senate as well. And I was shocked by how little people knew about Washington, but how easy and quick they were to blame. But they don't know who to blame. They don't know who to blame.
We don't blame
Both
you.
sides.
We know that.
Just
right?
Congress in general, right? All right, Jim, thanks so much. Appreciate you as always.